that great vaunted master, savior, avatar, guru, sage, enlightened one, so revered by all, what does he have that you don't? Actually, nothing, as you're about to see. The Essence of Reality explores how the psyche which you are creates the reality you encounter. You found the essence of reality. We explore consciousness here, the nature of your own existence, how reality actually works. Common ideas like religion and science simply don't describe experienced reality. Worse, if you believe in them, they actually hide life's real flow. You create your life's qualities. No God does, no external power source does. You do. If you want to see how that works, listen with an open mind and come back again. We sure have a lot to cover. This issue looks at consciousness with a focus on glorifying teachers. As an intelligent, alert, conscious entity, you have all the capabilities and characteristics that any human has. Standard equipment on your model includes an intellect capable of rational thinking and intuitive traits with which you are neatly tied to reality. You were delivered with an onboard absorbent memory, currently storing all you've ever done, including its meaning. You got psychic abilities pre-installed at the factory. You've even got an automatic transmission, wherein your core nature is transmitted into real events and relationships without a need for manual shifting. In terms of consciousness, you are capable, curious, and highly inquisitive. I know that, else you wouldn't be here checking out EoR. The dull-witted, brainwashed, incurious, and closed-minded are off doing something much more mundane, like going to church. So, honored viewer, you've got all you need, all the necessary apparatus you could possibly require to grow in awareness to any level you set your sights on. In this modern time, you even have access to all the advanced perspectives, growth techniques, and shared insights you could need. Much available online, more in books. So a path is there for you to undertake a powerful, introspective, advanced journey into awareness. The only difficulty is, well, now actually, there are quite a few difficulties on the journey. We'll look at some of them as we proceed here, but a big one is this: overly glorifying great teachers of the past, or famous ones of the present. Tom Nair here, Exploring Consciousness. Insights here add to my website, my books, and hundreds of talks I've given to open-minded groups. From a mystic experience I had years ago, through my long inner journey, I've come to see the oneness of things, how you're connected to life events and relationships. You're not separate and apart as science and religion imply. Aware of that connection, you can improve real life in all ways by finding and changing inner roots to outer problems. I call this clear awareness, bypassing beliefs to see clearly how life works. Arriving at clear awareness requires something of an inner journey. That venture would take you from your current mindset and level of understanding to one that more directly perceives the nature of your being. That can involve many phases and elements. Some practices, techniques, and disciplines deal with clearing away old beliefs and absorbed definitions. Others with clearing out detrimental mechanisms within your mind. Some esoteric sounding practices, though, aren't overly useful for growth and awareness, but only lead to dead-end efforts. These might seem highly enlightened at first when you get involved with the technique or join a group that deems itself to be the final answer. Maybe they'll help you along the way to some degree. But if you really seek ultimate levels of awareness, you'll have to comprehend the limits of any particular discipline or movement, because the trek to enlightenment is a personal venture for each individual. And you have to see the limitations of any self-proclaimed master, guru, or savior type at the head of that discipline or movement. That vaunted leader has no greater capacity than you, unless you believe that to be the case. Even faulty intro-level spiritual practices, of course, as you outgrow them, will have carried some benefit in the long journey. In that case, your personal realization of their limitation itself is significant. You learn to trust yourself, not the esoteric practice. Of course, some people never, at least in this lifetime, never outgrow their early spiritual indoctrination, their first or second step in the journey. The prime hindrance to that particular effect is blatant and common: overly glorifying the vaunted spiritual leader. Many low-level pseudo-teachers pick up some simple meditation or healing practice, then head off to make money from it by sucking in neophytes. Other hucksters reinvent some sort of religion that manages to attract the truly naive as followers. This sort of activity has gone on for ages, and the examples are plenty, from movements to cults to religions. Scientology, invented by L. Ron Hubbard. Ekankar, concocted by Paul Twitchell, though claiming ancient roots. Mary Baker Eddy's Church of Christ, scientists, that is, the Christian Scientists. The Jehovah's Witnesses, initiated by Charles Taze Russell, but often reinventing its own theology. Mostly it had to, as its predictions were always wrong. Then there's the Silva method, formerly the Silva mind control, conjured up by Jose Silva, and the Unification Church, cooked up by Sun Myung Moon. The list is extensive. Various charismatic Indian teachers have initiated yoga practices: Hatha, Kundalini, Siddha. The range of gurus and Indian wise men is extensive in itself. What list of religious cults would be complete without Mormonism, Joseph Smith's absolute sham that sucks in ignorant dupes door to door across the planet? Indeed, if you want to go back far enough, the major religions are prime examples of low-level deceptive practices. They have sucked in billions of fools. Whether deemed cults, movements, practices, or religions, these and untold dozens of other such idea-based movements have pulled in millions of followers over time, each likely convinced that its truths were more true and its vaunted founder more elevated than any others. Ever. Only this can you accept as a certainty. Not one flaunted, overhyped spiritual leader or pseudo-visionary had any greater or more exclusive engagement of reality than you do. Many did indeed see through standard thinking to explore the realm of mind more deeply than their peers. But most broke standard barriers only to establish their own boundaries in other fixed ideas and definitions, and many allowed their own self-glory to outshine any meager accomplishment as their movement came to hallow not the slightly better idea, but the individual. Christian Science typifies that effect. Indeed, as Christian Science affords, the mind and body are intimately connected. They got that right. The body always reflects a composite of the psyche's total mindset. While Mary Baker Eddy broke new ground in recognizing that, the movement came to revere her. In the process, its followers became affixed to her ideas, and that consequence has kept them, as a group, from moving to greater awareness of the mind-body connection. And that basic outcome is a skewer that will poke any follower of any spiritual teacher, be it Gurdjieff, Krishnamurti, Jesus of Nazareth, Merton, Muktananda, Jones, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, Mohammed, Guru Nanak, Baha'u'llah, or even Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. If you hoist any of these initiators of ideas, disciplines, or movements up onto a pedestal, elevate them to an imagined superhuman status, you will never, not ever in this lifetime, pass them on your own journey. That limitation is a direct consequence of the workings of your own subconscious in manifesting your self-image. Imagining someone to be greater than your own self limits your growth to something below their level. On the positive side, some esoteric teachers may offer perspectives helpful to you on your journey. By all means, take the gems of wisdom, any gems that they might offer. But your consciousness is every bit as perceptive as any of theirs, and your potential much greater. Clearly, that vaunted teacher, whoever it was, had reached a plateau in growth. You can exceed that level. But you won't accomplish personal growth beyond that phase if you put the teacher on a pedestal above and beyond your own level. Lots more to look at. Come on back. You've got all you need, all the necessary apparatus you could possibly require to grow in awareness to any level you set your sights on. Some esoteric sounding practices, though, aren't overly useful for growth and awareness, but only lead to dead-end efforts. The trek to enlightenment is a personal venture for each individual. You have to see the limitations of any self-proclaimed master, guru, or savior type. That vaunted leader has no greater capacity than you, unless you believe that to be the case. You learn to trust yourself, not the esoteric practice. The mind and body are intimately connected. The body always reflects a composite of the psyche's total mindset. Many low-level pseudo-teachers pick up some simple meditation or healing practice, then head off to make money from it by sucking in neophytes. Other hucksters reinvent some sort of religion that manages to attract the truly naive as followers. If you hoist any of these initiators of ideas, disciplines, or movements up onto a pedestal, elevate them into an imagined superhuman status, you never will. Not ever in this lifetime. You never will pass them on your own journey. Your consciousness is every bit as perceptive as any of theirs, and your potential much greater. But you won't accomplish personal growth beyond that phase if you put a teacher on a pedestal above and beyond your own level.